Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making the British classic Friday meal, the fish and chips. The most important thing about the fish and chips is the potato and the type of fish. Normally the classic is, in terms of fish, would be cod or any white fish. But anyhow, today I'm using the Yukon Gold potatoes. I like sweet potatoes more than I like regular potatoes, but you can't substitute sweet potatoes for your classic British fish and chips. And I have been craving it. So Yukon Gold it is today. So to start with, these potatoes have been washed. You can either leave the skin on or take the skin off. I am just going to start by just taking the skin off. The thing about Yukon Gold potatoes, they are very flavorful, but you can use any potato that you like. And I'm going to recycle these in my garden. So I'm saving them as part of the compost. Now, what we want to do is to cut this. Making sure to keep them all even so that they can all cook at the same time. You can either slice it that way or just stack them and then slice. There are no right or wrong ways of chopping this, especially when you're at home. After chopping them, the most important thing is to put them in water to get rid of the excess starch. If you don't get rid of the starch when you fry them, they tend to stick together. So what you want to do is to just wash this a few times to get rid of that excess stuff. So I'm going to wash them under the sink until the water comes out clear. You may want to rinse them out about 2 to 3 times before that happens. After washing the potatoes, you want to actually pat them dry. So the best way to do it is to spread them out on a kitchen towel, making sure that they're on single layer. The whole idea is to dry them so that when you put them in oil, they do not explode. Water and oil, that mix. And then we put another layer of tissue paper just to pat them dry and leave them for like a few minutes to soak up the excess water. In the meantime, we are going to start our oil. I'm using olive oil because I don't like using canola oil or vegetable oil. So I'm gonna use olive oil to cook this. And of course, you can also air fry these, but air frying, though it is good, but it is not as crunchy. The fish is not as crunchy. We want to hit the oil to 260 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're gonna insert a thermometer. All right, in the meantime, while the oil is getting ready, we cleaned our cod. This is 1.7 pounds of cod that we have here. And what we want to do now is to get it into the shape that we want, depending on how much, cutting it into the sizes that you prefer. Now you can cut them bigger or smaller. We have our corn section. Now we are going to make our batter that we're going to use. To make our batter, we have about 225 grams of all-purpose flour. I'm going to put all-purpose seasoning in here. I'm gonna mix it. We're also going to add some seasoning, our fish. Now you don't need to put any seasoning. You can just put salt and pepper, but I like a little bit more seasoning on my fish. So we're gonna flip it and rub the other side of it. The fish is very meaty. You can choose to use gloves. I like to work with my hand most of the time. Of course, be sure to wash your hands, especially when handling fish. If you would like to know how to make your own homemade seasoning, I'll link a video of my homemade seasoning right here. All right, so I'm gonna keep this aside, add the rest of it here, and then wash my hand. And we're gonna mix. Then we're going to add 1 egg as a binder. Be sure not to add any shell. The key to making this batter is making it with carbonated drink. I'm using kombucha, passion fruit and tangerine. People use beer to make theirs, and what you want to do is to mix it a little at a time. You can see the fizziness, and you want it to be a consistent of a pancake batter or slightly light. Just keep adding till you get to the consistency that you want. You may want to add a little at a time and mix. You can also use carbonated water. Now, the reason why you don't want it too thick is that you don't want a really thick crust. You want a very, very light shell over the fish. I'm using a combination of passion fruit kombucha and pink lady apple. So I have a can of each, and these are 11.5 ounces or 343 ml can. So I use 2. We're also keeping an eye on the temperature of the oil, which is currently at 240. Add a little bit more. The oil is ready, so we are going to blanch these potatoes for a few minutes because we have to double fry them in order to get that golden texture. The blanching just means we're just going to cook it such that it doesn't change color but softens it, and then when we do the second fry, that's when we get the golden color. Once it's blanched for a few minutes, maybe about 3 to 4 minutes, we'll take it out, let it dry and cool down. Then we'll fry our fish by heating the temperature up to 360 degrees. So we're going to use about 3 different temperatures to cook this. We start with 260 to blanch the potatoes. Then we remove the potato. We heat the oil up to 360, and then we'll fry the fish for about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. Then we'll take the fish out, and then we will then heat the temperature up to 375 to do the second fry of the fries. So that's how this is done. I still think this is a little thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more. All right, so we are going to take the fries off and spread them out, allowing them to drain and cool down. So what we want to do is to spread this all out. If you look, they feel soft and they have puffed up. We want to just lay them out. We're going to let the oil heat up to 360 degrees. The tissue paper helps take out the extra oil. We are going to cover it. We cover it with an extra layer of tissue paper as well, just to drain some of the oil. Set it aside. Now we have our dredging station for the fish. So you first want to cover it in flour before dipping it in the batter. I generally season my flour as well, just to keep everything consistent. And very little seasoning because I don't like a lot of salt, but I love flavor. So then what you want to do is to just coat the fish with the seasoned flour. This really doesn't take much time at all once everything is prepped. So the next thing you want to do is to probably turn your oven on because you're going to want to keep the fish warm while you're waiting to finish frying your fries. The fish should always wait for the fries. Now I'm going to clean this up. The oil has heated up to 360 degrees. We are going to start frying our fish. So what we're going to do is to grab it like this, dip it in here, and let it run off a little bit. 1, 2, and then we'll place it in the fryer. And then we'll repeat for all of the fish. After the fish has cooked for about 3 minutes on one side, so you want to turn it and then cook it for another 3 minutes on that side until it is golden brown. Then you remove it from the fire and place it on a draining rack. And then let it drain on a rack. Then you want to put this in the oven while we heat the oil back up to 375 degrees. The oil has heated up to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see it's boiling. And now we're going to deep fry our fry. We're going to put all of them together. We blanch them and we want to fry it and keep it at that same temperature. To do that, we have to cover it to maintain the 375 degrees so that it will be crispy. We are going to change the kitchen towel to drain the excess oil off of the chips once they are golden brown. We want to fry the fries until they are golden brown and crispy. Make sure and check it. Oh, look at that. That is perfect. We're going to let it cook for about 1 more minute and then we'll bring it out. This is beautiful. So we are going to drain it out and let the extra oil drain out. And then we turn the heat up. Drain it out. Drain all the oil. And what we want to do is, if you like salt, is to add the salt while it's still hot. Now it's time to serve this. We'll bring our fish out of the oven because we have been keeping it in the oven to keep it warm. So we'll just grab one, plate it up. Traditionally, you would wrap this in a paper and you would traditionally serve it with malt vinegar. And this is the London Pub brand. So you would usually put some salt and then you slather a whole bunch of malt vinegar. The vinegar smells amazing. So now let's do a taste test. This is so good. Now let's try the fish. Look at how succulent that fish is. It is. The vinegar with the salt and the seasoning just takes it over the top. You can also add some lemon juice, but it's not necessary. This is so good. You can try this at home. This is bringing London to Las Vegas, to put it mildly. Anyhow, if this video has been of value to you, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that we can notify you when we upload new video. This is Dr. Okeke. Thank you and God bless.